Egos. Alter egos, that is. Very commonplace for our favorite heroes to retain a secret identity for one reason or another. But not all transformations are created equal. I'm Victor, and straight out of the Gen Experience, unforgettable magical transformations that helped us buy into the alter ego of some of the most famous fictional identities, from both live action and animation. Not all heroes and heroines convert to their superpowered personality with as much drama as others. Hero transformations are not as prevalent these days, so please click the like and consider subscribing if you enjoy this content. And let's rank and relive 13 overcharged alter ego transformations created for the Gen Experience. Let's start with the odd and often forgotten. For sheer creepy factor, Turbo Teen had to make the list. It is the first on the list for its minimal amazement, but also its downright awkwardness, as seen on Robot Chicken. And I'm really not sure how effective this all is, because he transforms only when he gets really hot. Living in Florida, I guess I would constantly be a Trans Am. Continuing a theme of cars, the next transformation is one of few to include multiple versions. Although Automan does not turn into his digitally manifested vehicles, he can and does magically transform in a variety of ways. Automan was a short-lived TV show co-starring Desi Arnaz Jr., Lucy and Ricky's real-life kid. The show could have been more, but was canceled too early. This seemingly Tron-inspired premise includes a digitally rendered character who comes complete with computerized circuitry glow, manufactured the same way as the Kryptonians had in the original Superman the movie. Otto can transform himself as necessary for the show, although the transformation seems to fit just over the light-piped outfit if that glow on his neck is any evidence. That, or he's a computerized pastor. The animation of glowing wireframes drawing out whatever story element was necessary supported the exciting transformations, and the effects were still new and impressive at the time. The other transformation the show provided is when Walter had to merge with Otto for various reasons. During that fusion, Otto's voice would be that of his creator, Walter. Now, this is a show I equally believe should be rebooted, as well as should be left alone as a product of its era. Oh Mighty Isis, the world of 70s superheroes and Saturday morning, and in live action no doubt. She was a sight to behold, with some great mythology and early effects worthy of Saturday morning. And Isis. Although this has fans and was magical in its own way, there is very little wow factor to rank it much higher than number 11. Due to their iconic and well-known nature, the next transformation makes it to my number 10. The phrase and the blast are known throughout the world and seem fairly quick, but in reality, it is fairly lengthy. And the brilliance of the Wonder Twins is overshadowed simply by their final forms, which I know were limited to either an animal or something made of ice. But an ice gondola? Really?
But instead you did a gopher moat. And now my son is dead.
We were just trying. Ow.
Before this, in Zachary Levi's version of Billy, Isis was joined by this Saturday morning superhero in live-action form, going above and beyond his sister super Isis. Upon Billy Batson's utterance of Shazam, there is a little more flair and excitement to this one, and it makes it to my 9 spot. His transformation is still efficient enough to catch the bad guys by the time the lightning clears. This rarely remembered animation is worthy, as the cartoon effects were improving at this time, and the originality of the character's transformation is unique enough to get them here in the middle of my list. It may not be iconic, but the poetic magic words and the special effects to transform into the images on their staff or their chest make the Visionaries fantastic. She is definitely iconic, but way too similar to her brother. Although the special effects are there and slightly unique to her own in some way, the amount of time it takes for her transformation would allow either Hordak to get away or already have taken out a whole platoon of rebels before she turns Spirit into Swiftwind. So for that, she makes it to number 7. Predictable? Maybe. Necessary? You bet. I wasn't going to do a show about transformations without the granddaddy of transforming. Not just another car, but the number 1, Grand Poobah, head honcho, leader, and father figure, Optimus Prime. Sure, it may seem like low-hanging fruit, being that the transformation is the actual gimmick of this property more than any other on the list, but that's also why he's not number 1. Relatively simplistic in transformation, both for his original toy in '84 and the animated cartoon and movie of 1986. While talking about G1 Optimus, I can't ignore his arch-rival Megatron. Not just because of his more complicated transformation sequence that was never the same way twice in the cartoon, but because he's a freaking gun, a .38 caliber for his army to wield. As for Optimus, he deserves a place here more than most. Gone too soon, Optimus still fills us with awe and stirs emotions we can never let go of. Okay, maybe not a superhero, but our only true supervillain on the list. This TV icon of the undead has an incredibly detailed and powerful transformation, from decayed form to ever living in a flash of ancient Egyptian style and ghoulish animation detail that it keeps Mum-Ra an iconic memory throughout the decade. I think we need more villain transformations, don't you? These may not match your own list, but that's what's great. We can all have our own lists, our own favorites. There's no science involved. But I'd love to hear about your choices or your favorites in the comments. Anti-hero, misunderstood, unfortunate. This live-action TV hero's transformation may be a bit more scientific, but as it is almost inexplicable, it's like magic. And so was watching this in the 1970s. In front of your eyes, the colors, the tearing clothes, the eyes, and the building biceps formed in a way that viewers had never seen. It didn't take too long, and little to no frills in the way of effects, as it was mostly practical. The final form was not about to let the bad guys go without a good smashing. Perhaps only because she is not as thought of as many of the others on my list, I could not deny that the originality of this magical transformation, along with its seamless special effects animation, put Gem at number 3. She is also so close to my number 1 because while still making an impact with her metamorphosis in regards to the storyline at hand, it was hardly the same thing twice. Because she changed her clothes so often, it wasn't the same stock animation footage each time like so many others, and you always looked forward to seeing it. Plus, she used her power of transformation on other people and objects too. The originality of touching her earrings, talking to her computer synergy, this magic act was almost instantaneous and made more sense to the storyline and more believable that the change could occur in a second flat at Jerrica's will to effectively change the outcome of the situation. Yeah, I even thought this would be number 1. He certainly was going to be higher than his copycat sister, but He-Man is still number 2, and what most Gen Xers will remember as the most iconic transformation sequence of a hero. It is so memorable, the lines, the light, the special effects and sounds, and even cringer to Battle Cat. It is the iconic sequence of one of the most famous franchise heroes ever that places it here. Even if Skeletor would have already entered Grayskull, imprisoned the sorceress, and made Teela his bride by the time the complete transformation sequence wrapped up, this is pop culture royalty, and for that, he's number 2. Yeah, so I only have one honorable mention, and it is not that honorable. However, it may have helped He-Man become who he was as well, no matter how simple. With little flair and instant transformation of Tor to my Tor by lifting his club above his head earns this 70s hero sequence a mention. In a flash of blinding light, we hit number 1. Like Gem, this is almost instantaneous. But it's not only the live-action effect that drives this transformation home, but it's the iconic look, the music, and how it makes us feel. Followed by the unmistakable sound effects of a superhero jumping, crushing, and punching. This is what makes Wonder Woman's TV transformation #1 on my list. The sound itself is iconic, but the transformation is magical and useful to Princess Diana, especially with the alternate transformation sequences rarely seen. The linchpin is Diana's transforming to Wonder Woman in a variety of costumes depending on the situation. This live-action superhero TV transformation hits all the buttons and makes us remember why we love TV in its heyday. Are there other magical hero transformations you can think of? Or that you found awesome that I did not include? Please share them with all of us in the comments so we can discuss. Alter egos might play an important role in the secret wars of superheroes, but it's the transformation from one identity to the next that always captivated us. Just like so much from the Gen experience. I really hope you click the subscribe to support this content. And there's so much more on the channel to explore. I'd love a like and thank you for stopping by and enjoying the show. Until next time.